here's the thing. Last summer, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp were questioned about, like, do you think that you need to strengthen specifically in the midfield? And Jurgen Klopp was like, no, I think we're good. And then later on, he admitted to the fact that, no, I think it was a mistake. And Cody Gakpo coming in, like you said, he was great in the World Cup. But is that what they needed? Is that what they truly needed? Because I looked at that midfield today, and I'm not impressed. Yes, granted, a few of the young players were given a nod just because of what they were doing in the League Cup. And like you said, the bench that usually that Jurgen Klopp relies on, was not present from the get-go. But that is alarming to me about Liverpool's not just performance today, but what's going to happen in the future. Forget like winning the title, obviously, because the likes of Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, of course, they're doing much, much better. I'm thinking, can you even get Europe, Liverpool? And that's a big, big problem, especially when you're a club, when you're an owner that's trying to sell. For Chelsea, well, Todd Bowley's come in and he's like putting his money where his mouth is. We have to wait and see if Graham Potter, like you said, I think probably he's looking at this game going, I could have gotten 3 points out of this. But I tweeted this and many people were like, no, a lot of injuries, whatever. But there is something happening at the top half of the table with the likes of Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, all these clubs who are looking at recruitment. They're looking at things that are happening outside of the pitch and thinking to themselves, we can disrupt this top half of the table. And Chelsea and Liverpool are being complete victims here. And I don't know. I'm a bit worried for both of them and where they'll end up at the end of the season.
Well, do you know, it was a question on the FC show last night, Luis, as to which manager needed a win more in this game. Who would you have said going into it? Who needed the win more?
Well, at face value, you would think that the answer is Graham Potter just because of where they are at the table. They're still lower than Liverpool, even if it's by a margin of points. But actually, I think Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp needed this more than Chelsea, specifically because they were playing at home. They needed some momentum. They needed a pick-me-up. And they needed to have some kind of positive answer after all the dreary performances that have been going on. And, of course, the instability that's happening outside of the club. So I think that Liverpool actually needed this more, especially because of what you said. Game 1,000 for Klopp. It's at Anfield. Everybody's hyped. They want to see a win, and it didn't happen. And I think sometimes with Liverpool, a victory sort of jolts up the momentum for the Reds, and that didn't happen today. So yes, I think that from a table perspective, you could say, look, Chelsea really need a win, etc. No, I think a point away from Stamford Bridge was a good thing for them, and Liverpool once again can't even score and not get a victory. Klopp definitely needed it more. And again, I'll repeat it again like a cuckoo clock, but I'm a bit worried about Liverpool and where they're going.
Yeah, it's really weird to see, I suppose, because of what we've been used to in recent years with them. Obviously, with it being Klopp's thousandth match, and just seeing everything he achieved in that time, getting Mainz promoted, those back-to-back titles with Borussia Dortmund, and then every major honour at Liverpool, the Champions League. He's been to Champions League finals that he hasn't won as well. The Premier League. He holds the record for winning more competitive games against Pep Guardiola than any other manager, with 11 there. And so everybody still is believing in Klopp, I feel, that I speak to, that's surrounded by Liverpool, even people who aren't. It just feels as though it really does need some new life breathing into it. Obviously, they've been struggling with injuries, as we've mentioned, but it's just not about to get any easier. It's Real Madrid in the Champions League, and we know their history with Real Madrid. Real Madrid aren't at the best, that's to say. Yeah. I mean, that's probably one of the good things, but it's just not positive looking ahead. And so even though it wasn't a loss, it wasn't a win either. So, yeah. I mean, that's not going to be great for them.
Hey, listen, but at least Real Madrid are doing something to win. We saw what happened at Copa del Rey, where they were like 2-0 down, and then they got that victory. Those kind of victories jolt up the squad. Of course, there's problems. And like you said, they lost a Supercopa, of course, against Barcelona, and they're not exactly doing the best that they can right now. They're, rethinking about their squad. Camavinga might go out on loan, etc. Liverpool right now, I don't see anything. And yes, the injuries are a problem, but I don't see anything. And Klopp has already said, look, in the summer, we're going to have a massive, massive overhaul. I wonder if, I know, but I wonder if Klopp might even think to himself, have I done enough for this club now that I think it's time for me to move on? I know that Liverpool fans are probably saying, what are you talking about? But there is such a thing as 7 years you've been there, you've done tremendous stuff. Is it time for a complete reshift for Liverpool? I don't know.
Yeah, and I wonder what would be next for him if that was to be the case. Just before we do move on, we should probably mention the legend that is Thiago Silva. This is a player who just seems ageless, Luis.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just one of the best center backs in Europe. And the fact that we're saying that at his age, representing the national team as well as Chelsea, of course. You know, I actually questioned this move when he came to Chelsea. I was like, is this the right move? But absolutely, it's spot on. He's just Mr. Consistent. Such a good defender, such a good leader, especially off the ball. And Chelsea, I think, are very lucky to have him. And I think that probably says a lot about the other side with Liverpool when, you know, the likes of somebody like Virgil van Dijk is not around. But Thiago Silva, okay, one of the best center backs out there. And like you said, just like a fine wine, just gets better as they get older.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.